Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 2. We consist of 5 people including Aiman, Aina, Priscilla, Diana and myself, Iman. We choose labor force by age group in Negeri Sembilan from 1982 to 2019 from age 20 to 24. Data arrangement. First, there are 5 steps for data arrangement. Step 1. Decide on the number of classes. There were 36 labor force by age in Negeri Sembilan, so n equal to 36. Let's say if you let k equal to 6, the answer is 64. So 64 which is greater than 36. So the recommended number of classes is 6. Step 2. Determine the class interval or width. The formula for class width is maximum entry minus minimum entry divided by number of classes. The solution is 76.8 minus 36.1 divided by 6. So the answer will be 6.78. That we will run off to 7. Next, step 3. Step the individual class limit. The upper class limit of the first class is 42.1, which is 1 less than the lower limit of the second class. The upper limit of other class are 42.1 plus by 7 equal to 49.1. Next, 49.1 plus 7 equal to 56.1. And continue the same step till classes of 6. Next, step 4. Make a tally mark for each data entry in the appropriate class. Step 5. The number of tally mark for a class is the frequency for that class. As we can see, the table shows the number of class that we already find from 36.1 to 42.1. The tally shows 9, so that means the frequency will be 9. So the next class 43.1 to 49.1, frequency is 5. 50.1 to 56.1 equal to frequency 5. 57.1 to 63.1, frequency is 4. 64.1 to 70.1, frequency is 6. 71.1 to 77.1 equal to frequency 7. So the total frequency will be the same as the number of labor force by age in Negeri Sembilan, which is 36, or F equal to 36. Next, relative frequency distribution. Relative frequency distribution, this formula is class frequency or F divided by sample size or N. So the table shows for relative frequency for this labor age. As we can see, classes for 36.1 to 42.1 is 0.25. The second class is 0.14. The third class 0.14. Fourth class 0.11. Fifth class 0.17, and the last class is 0.91. So the total for relative frequency is 1. Cumulative frequency distribution. Cumulative frequency of the last class or equal to sample size, which is the first class we will add to the second class. For the table shows the first cumulative frequency for first class is 9. Then 9 will be added by 5 equal to 14, which is cumulative frequency plus frequency. So after that, 14 plus 5 equal to 19, 19 plus 4 equal to 23, 23 plus 6 equal to 29, and then 29 plus 7 equal to 36. Thank you.
Histogram is a bar or the graph that represents for the frequency distribution of the data set. The graphic display using the bar of different height. The histogram numbers into the ranges. The following properties must be followed when the horizontal scales is a quantitative and measure the data value either the class midpoint. Beside that, the vertical scale measure the frequency of the class. Therefore, to find the histogram, you will need to follow by the step below. Table 4 shows the data has been solved. The explanation for table 4 is class boundaries the number that separate classes without forming gaps between them. Second, lower boundary is lower limit. This means we need to minus 0.5. Next is upper boundary. Upper boundary is a upper limit. If the upper limit, we need to plus 0.5. Lastly, midpoint, the sum of the lower and upper limit of the class divided by 2. The data of the histogram will be combined to make the histogram graph. Therefore, the histogram needs the midpoint at the x-axis, while at the y-axis is the frequency. Next is polygon frequency. Polygon frequency are graphical device for the shape of distribution. It is one of the quantitative distribution for searching the data beside of histogram graph. They serve the same purpose as the histogram but are especially helpful for the comparing the set of the data. Frequency polygon are also a good choice for displaying cumulative frequency distribution. The following properties must be followed for the horizontal scale is the midpoint of the data value. Beside that, the vertical scale is the measure for the frequency of the class, while the plot represents the midpoint of frequency each class and connect to the points in the order from the left to the right.
Mean is referred to the average that used to derive the central tendency of data in question. So here is the formula. As you can see, the total of 2009.6 are from the total frequency multiplied by midpoint of a class and divided by the number of entries in the sample, which is 36. So the mean of labor force in Negeri Sembilan is 55.82. Median is referred to the middle value when the data values are arranged in numerical order. So this is the formula of median. First, solution is total frequency 36 divided by 2 and we got 18th observation. So the median class is 50.1 to 56.1. Next, total of lower class, which is 50.1 minus 0.5, and we will get 49.6 plus total observation minus 14, which I 1 power of 18, and divided by 5. The 5 are frequency of median class, and need to multiply by 7. So the median of labor force in Negeri Sembilan is 55.2. Mode is the data entry that occurs the greatest frequency, and this is the formula of mode. The solution is lower class which 35.6 plus total triangle 1 which is 9 divided by total triangle 1 plus triangle 2 and get 30 multiplied by 7. So the highest of level force in Negeri Sembilan is 40.43.
Hi, my name is Shevila Diana Anna Ansariban and I want to present my part which is measure of variation. A measure of central tendency is some parameters attempt to describe the amount of variation between the random variables. Three parameters that are used to quantify the amount of variation is a set of random variables which is rank, variance, and standard deviation. Hi, my name is Shevilia Diana Anansariban and I want to present my part which is measure of variation. A measure of central tendency is some parameters obtained to describe the amount of variation between random variables. Three parameters that are used to quantify the amount of variation is a set of random variables which is rank, variance, and standard deviation. The rank of data is the difference between the maximum and minimum data entries in the set. The formula to measure rank is maximum data entries minus minimum data entries. The solution is 76.8 minus 36.1. So the answer of rank is about 40.7. Next is variance. The example formula to measure variance we can refer to the slide. After we find the data or value according to the formula, next we will calculate the calculation part and we will get the answer for the sample variance is about 177.2. And the last one is standard deviation. The example formula can refer to the slide. To find the data for the calculation part, we can use the data from the answer of sample variance which is 177.2. So the answer for the sample standard deviation is about 13.31. That's all from me. Thank you.
So, I will present about measure of a position quartile. So, Q1, the formula is Q1 equal LQ plus N over 4 minus F over FQ1 divide by C. So our first step is, you can see here, N over 4 equal 36 over 4. So the 36 over 4 is 9. We can see here LQ is 36.1 minus 0.5. So we have 35.6. Our F is 0, our FQ1 is 9, and C is a 7. So you can see the solution here. So we got 42.6. So for the Q3, we have the same equation, but we just put a 3 before the N. So here the formula Q3 equal LQ plus 3N over 4 minus F over FQ1 divide by C. So the first step is 3N over 4. So we put the 3 before the 36 and then over the 4. So we got the answer. And the LQ we got 63.6 F we have a 23 and FQ1 is 6. C we have 7. So here the solution, we just put the number in the formula and we got 68.27. So after we got the solution from the Q1 and Q3, we put in the interquartile range. So Q3 minus by Q1.
The conclusion is the number of classes that we use is 6, which class interval or width 6.78 and round up to 7. Relative and cumulative frequency are also used to arrange the data. For graphical method, we use two types of graph such as polygon and histogram. We also use central tendency to calculate mode, mean, and median. For a measure of variation, we use range, variance, and standard deviation. The quartile method was used to calculate the interquartile range for the measure of position. That's all from us. Thank you.